Welcome to Asana Solutions. My name is Marquis, and you've landed on the #1 channel on YouTube for all things related to Asana, process improvement, and project management. And today we're going to be taking another look at Asana for people that are getting started. So if you haven't seen the Getting Started video already, make sure you go check that out first because this is an advanced Asana tutorial. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes or so just going over rules, forms, portfolios, custom fields, and everything in between. So if you've been using Asana for a while now and want, a level up or refresher on a lot of things, or if you've already gone through my basic training and you want to take it to the next level, then please stick around. If you want to jump ahead, there's little links in the description below that can bring you to certain sections so you don't have to watch everything. But if anything jumps out at you, make note of it. Share the video with someone that you work with, someone on your team. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe right now, like this video so that we can reach more people on YouTube just like you. So let's jump in and let's learn more about Asana. All right, so in this section, we're going to cover some of the more advanced features of Asana. We're going to be covering some of the premium features as well as the business features. And we're going to be looking at approvals and proofing and how that works inside of Asana. We'll also be looking at rules and creating custom rules, looking at forms inside of Asana. We'll take a look at the project overview, and then we'll get into portfolios and how all of that works. I will not be covering goals inside of this module. There is another video I've created that is specific to goals. So I'll link it right here. If you want to know about goals, go straight there because it's already been covered. And then there's a more recent update on some of the updates to goals as well that you can check out in the video library. So let's go back up here. We're going to start with approvals. So what approvals are is just a way of gaining approval on tasks. As you can see from on the screen right here, we can change a task type from a regular task. We can change it to an approval task, or we can change it to a milestone task. So I'll flip over to Asana so we can see exactly what that looks like in our demo project here. So if I were to click on and open up the task detail view of this task #1, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the 3 dots up here, which gives us access to so many more options. In my first video, the Asana Basics version of this video, go watch it if you haven't. I cover a lot of shortcuts as well. So things like putting your task detail into full screen is simply Tab X. If you wanted to comment on something, it's Tab C, right, to really move around. But if we're looking in this, we're already in full screen mode here. But if we wanted to add it to projects, let's say Tab P, because I showed you in a previous video how we can multi-home, right? So instead of clicking on projects, we can now just click Tab P and it brings up our list of projects for us. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to actually look at the different task types. And so what we can do is, here's approval right here. If we wanted it to be a milestone task, we can change it to a milestone task, and it changes it from the little circle with the check mark to our diamond with the check mark, which is more familiar for milestones. But again, that's also not what we're doing. We want to mark this as an approval task. And so we want to click on there, and as you can see, it's changing what we see here in the task detail. We can unmark for approval, or we can mark for approval. And we can see there's a little stamp here in the corner that does one of 3 things. This is assigned to someone. They are working through the task itself. Let's say we're designing something. Let's see if I can get an image up here. Give me 1 second. Let's just get any image. Any image at all. Clearly I was prepared for this. Great, so I'm gonna bring in my image from my computer. Beautiful, so there we go. We brought in our Ditto logo here, and I don't like it. I don't like how it looks, so I'm gonna request changes. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna go proof the work. So I'm gonna open it up here. Open up our attachment, and you'll see now in the top right hand corner, we have something called add feedback, right? So I can click on add feedback, and then it gives us these little crosshairs. It says click to add feedback. So I can click anywhere I want to, and I can say, change this to yellow, and not just yellow, to the ditto yellow, right? We can add a due date here, and then more information. This should not be white. We talked about this. Be nice to your people. Be nice to your people. So that creates that task. Change this to pink. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but change that to pink. There we go. We can assign a due date for that, or we can change the assignee, and it can be anybody else, right? So there we go. And then we can just click on close this up. And what it does is it adds these subtasks below our original parent tasks. So now we can request these changes, but this task now is in the hands of the people that we're requesting those changes from. Once they've come back and they've completed these, hey, we've updated this. This is just a subtask we've created. Done. Let me know if you need anything else. There we go. There we go. So now I can come here and I'm looking at it. Okay. Now I approve this task. It's all done. Everyone's happy. We've got that stamp of approval, and we're viewing all tasks. There we go. We've got that stamp of approval now. So that's what, that's how approvals really work in Asana. We can get really granular with this. If you are a Figma or a Creative Cloud shop, we can actually go into, let's add this to a project for a second here. We can actually go into a project now, and let's go to the list view. We can click on customize, and we can add an app. So now we can add in the, where's the Creative Cloud? There we go. We can sign into our Creative Cloud account, and then now all that proofing that's happening in Asana, our designers can just link that task in Asana to their artboard inside of Photoshop or Illustrator or wherever they're working, and they can work through those changes in real time as well. So definitely take a look at the apps, because they add another layer of customization to Asana and visibility for the people that are included as well. All right, so let's take a look at what we have next. After approvals, we have rules. By far one of the best upgrades to Asana, as it allows us to automate so much of our work. And instead of just showing you, actually while we're here, I'm going to show you how to create rules. All right, but I'm actually going to take it a step further for this demonstration. You know, we can add rules inside of any project. Okay. In the previous video, I showed you how to do it in your My Tasks, which if you watch that one, it was very limited as far as what we could do. But with this, we can integrate with our other apps to get notifications in Slack, Teams, you know, Jira, whatever it may be. We can automate the processes here. So again, we have triggers and we have actions. Okay, and as you saw here, there's lots of pre-made stuff for us. I always like to just start from scratch. And this can be anything. So this can be, let's actually go and create one. Article backlog ideas approved to create. So there's already some rules here, but I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to add some rules to this section. So I'm going to start with the triggers, and I'm going to say approved to create is the name of the rule, because as we add more, we'll want to keep things really organized. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a trigger that when it's moved to the section approved to create, a few things are going to happen. We're going to reassign it to, say, another person. We'll give it to Justin in this case. We're also going to add a comment. We're going to say, hey, Justin, hope you're having a great day. Please work on this as at Jamie has approved this for you. There we go. And now what else do we want to do? Maybe we want to update the content stage. We can do that here as well. We can just keep adding them. I believe you can get up to 5. Yeah, so this is now approved. I believe you can get up to 5 actions in each of these rules. And now we can set a due date. What's nice about these rules is these due dates or clear dates, so whenever we want to remove a date, are relative to where we're at right now. So when this task action, when this rule trigger happens, we can have it be due for tomorrow when we want Justin to work on it, or, in a week from now. So a week from now, when this all comes through, Justin, this is what we want you to do with it. So let's just test our trigger. There we go. We're going to move it to here. And actually, I'm going to check what other rules are here. Move task. Yeah, I don't like this one. This is going to conflict with what we have. So there we go. So let's move this task. Which industry leader should be following on Instagram? So now let's see what happens. There we go. It assigned it to Justin automatically, and it's due for June 6th. The content status is approved automatically. And let's see what else happened. It created this nice little message from Asana for Justin. There we go. And so what's nice is as you move through your pipeline, you can add these things in, these different rules and automations, so that you can keep everyone up to date with what's going on, and remove, again, a lot of that manual work that may be happening. I want to take this a step further, because that's how you create rules. And what is nice and not so nice currently is that if you create a standard rule within a project, that rule lives in that project. There's no global rules yet. You can trigger other rules in other projects, but there isn't a library of preset rules that are spread out across many different projects. The only way that you would do that is if you create a rule inside of a project template, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. But before we do that, I'm going to show you how to create rules and workflows really from scratch. So let's go back and let's create a blank project. We're going to call it rules workflow, because if you're a more visual person, this tool was created so that we can really see what's happening at a high level. So once you're creating this project, it's going to actually ask you to set up a workflow. So let's click on set up workflow, and you're going to see that the view changes. Let's hit continue. So the different sections we want to have, I'm going to add a section. We're going to call it backlog, just because I like to do that. And then that's it. We're going to go to project. Let's close up our dashboard there. All right, so let's scroll over a minute. Let's actually move the backlog to the far left. So the backlog is where we're just going to have a bunch of tasks sit there forever and ever. What we want to be able to do is automate the changes that happen as we move through the pipeline. So if we click on a section, add trigger to move tasks to this section. So we can add a custom trigger. Okay, like so, and then we're into making rules. All right, let me just go a step back here. So where you want to really start is how you add tasks here. You can add tasks manually by clicking on this guy right here in your project, or clicking on this guy right here within your project. But in this case, we have two other ways we can add tasks to our project. We're going to review forms in a second, but one of them is task templates. So we can create a form really simply by clicking on that function there. We can also do the same thing by clicking on our customize section and scrolling down to forms. And so that's the one that we had just started. So I'm going to edit that, and you can actually have 5 forms in one different project as well. So what's nice is on the business plan, you can add in an image up here. And then you, in the enterprise plan, you can add in your logo here as well. So I can show my logo on the live version of the form. So this is a description of the form. That's not how you spell that. There we go. Description of the form, that's what it looks like. There's my logo. And now I can add my name, my email. I can click and drag everything from a single select to a multi-select and just drag it in here. And what's nice with these is if you did have other options, so we have A, B, C, I almost started singing there. We can add branches to these. So depending on their answer, we can add a branch. If they select A, then they need to add in their phone number, maybe, right? We can do something like that. Or we can have other single select answers that they need to provide. answer 2. So you can do some branching here as well. You can get really detailed within that stuff. If we did already have pre-selected answers, I might be getting ahead of myself, but we can create a custom field, which I'll show you in just a minute here. So that's what form creation looks like. You can play around with this and add, due dates. What is the date? There we go. We can make them required. This is going to get added to the due date. So whatever date gets selected here, that's going to be the due date of the task when it's due, when the task is submitted. So we can connect it to different fields here. If there isn't a field for what we want, we can add a field, which I'm not going to do from this section. I'm going to show you that separately. And then let's put in some attachments so people can upload things. Add your documents. All right, we're going to make that required and allow them to attach multiple documents. Now we can change the settings here. So instead of just having it be called rules workflow, we can have it be the name of the person that submitted it and what their question is. Right, and so that's what's going to show up when this form is submitted. Thanks for your submission right here. And then we can give them the option to add another submission after the fact. We could have created a rule for this, but if you don't have a rule for it, the easiest way to assign it to just one person is by just adding their name right there. So now we can preview this form, see exactly what it looks like, right? If we click B or C or D, nothing happens. But remember, we created a branch off of A. So there we go. The phone number popped up and answer number 2 popped up where we can choose and we can attach files directly from here. So I'm going to submit this. There we go. Answer 1. Phone number. And answer 2. There we go. All right, let's go submit. It's going to load up and do its thing. And thanks for your submission. And then it's going to say, hey, if you want to submit something else, do so here. Or it should have popped up. I guess I didn't check it off after all. Oh, it's because I didn't press done, of course. So there we go. So our form is now created. Let's see if it worked. Yeah, it did work. It came through. So this is the submission that I just created here. There's my name. There's my answer 1. It's automatically assigned to Justin and it's due today. And then all of our other answers are here. Now, if we wanted to, say, have these go into a specific field, or instead of our multi-select A, B, C, D we provided, if we wanted that to like be color-coded or to go into a specific field or view, then that's when we would get into our custom fields. So let's just do that. Again, anything you need to do as far as customization goes will happen right here in Asana. So we're going to click on the top right, click on customize. And by default, you already have these fields assigned: assignee, due date, projects, tags, and dependencies. So we can turn these on and off. And as you can see, it's adding these headings, which I can now resize right to Asana for me. And if I just toggle them off, they're still there. I can still see them even with this here. I can still open the task detail view. All the fields are all still there. They're just not showing up in my view here. Same is true with the board. If you don't want them to show up there, you don't have to have them, but I'm going to turn them all back on. There we go. So now we're going to create our own custom fields. We're going to add a custom field. You have a library here that we can choose from. I'd always recommend searching the library first for something specific. But if we go to create new, we now have the ability to create one of 4 custom field options. We can do a single select, multi-select option, text, or number. So I'm going to do a multi-select because I like them. And we're just going to call this status. Really simple. In progress. To do or done. And I can't spell today. So let's do that. There we go. And we have the option to add this to the library. Chances are there's probably already a status. So the only reason we add it to the library is if we want to be able to use this custom field in another project in the future. If it's only for this one-off project, we don't need to add it to the library. this is the only project that these fields are going to show up in. If we did want to notify collaborators of these tasks that will have, these statuses, then we would click off this checkbox. And if we don't want anyone else to make changes, then you as the field creator can check off only you can edit this field setting. But I usually keep that open so that other people can collaborate with me. So let's create that field. Okay. And now we can take this a step further. Let's go back to our form and let's edit this form. So now if we wanted to, we could add in this multi-select option. Okay. And we can say, what is the status? Like so, and we can connect it to a field. Guess which one we're going to connect it to? You got it, the status field. There we go. So we can do the same thing we did before. If they click on in progress, we can have them branch to something and we can say, what is the detailed status, right? Like so, make that required. I'm going to make this required as well. There we go, done. And let's try this form one more time. Let's fill out my information. Answer one. This is going to be in progress. I'll tell you later. The due date, or what is the date? It's for tomorrow. New question. And then let's add another attachment here and let's submit that. There we go. It's spinning its thing up. Let's go. Actually, I'm going to edit that because there we go. So there's our new submission. And what it did is it brought in our in progress to a status itself so we can visualize it. Okay. And so now we have that information here. We can see in progress, but it's also mapped that to another field. So now if you're kind of picking up what I'm laying down, you have this status. It's been submitted by a form. Now what we can do is if it says in progress, guess what we can do now? We can add a custom rule that if the status contains any of in progress, we're going to move it to the section in progress. So now a task that comes in that has this, so let's just create one. Test one, doesn't have to be a submission. There we go. It's sitting in our backlog. I'm going to do in progress, and you're going to see Asana is going to run its rule. There we go, and it moves it there. So now you can take submission of forms and everything, and we can go back to our workflow and we can see exactly what's happening. We've submitted our task via to the project via a form, and now within this section we have a trigger that is moving a task here. What else do we want to do when it gets to in progress? What collaborators do we want to add? We want to add in Frida. We want to add in Sean as well. There we go. What else do we want to do? We want to now assign this task to someone. We're going to assign it to me. What else do we want to do? The options are unlimited. We can add an approval required for this, right? So approval, approve this, please. Right? We can simply do that. So we can add any amount of actions, and we can even update triggers as well. We can create a custom trigger. We can create a notification when a task is no longer blocked. So we can really build out our workflow, and it's literally as easy as clicking the button and just looking, what do we want to do? Do we want to notify someone in Slack? Let's do that. Let's send a direct message to someone in Slack. What's the message? Here we go. So that's what workflows look like, and rules. Again, there's another video I created that is more in-depth into workflows if you want to spend more time there. But this is probably the best thing for you to do if you are just getting started with some of these advanced features as well. So let's see where we landed. We just covered rules. We covered forms. Awesome. Let's take a look at the project overview while we're here. In every single project, you're going to get all of these tabs that are standard. We can see all the files that have been added to this project. We can see any of the messages that have been sent and shared between people within this project. Okay, so if you're not on Slack or you want to keep all your messaging here, there is an onboard messaging or chat function here. We're not going to cover this today, but dashboards are available here. I have another video on dashboards. Go watch that video so you can see how this works. But you can report on a lot of the information and data that is stored and tracked within these projects as well. We've already seen the views in an earlier video, but our overview is where the project really comes together. So any milestones that are being tracked, let's actually create a milestone here. I just right clicked on each one of these and it brings up this little sub menu. So let's mark this as milestone. Let's go to overview. So now we have a milestone in this section. If there are any goals that this project is connected to, we would see that goal here. Let's see if we have any. We can connect it to that. There we go. We can, add links here. We can add files. We can connect it to Google or Dropbox, whatever it may be. We can add different project members here as well. So if we did want to invite someone else like Frida, we can invite them here. And then we can add the role. So this is the new project owner. And then Jamie's role is going to be stakeholder. There we go. We can add another person. And their role is going to be manager. What's not great about this is, yes, we can have different roles here because they may change project to project, but there's no way to have a role. Let's go to my settings here. My role here is creative producer, for example. This role, for whatever reason, doesn't translate to the overview section. It's not great, but again, we're just going to assume that these roles will change from project to project. And so we can elaborate on, what this project is about. We can create a brief here where it's a WYSIWYG editor. So what you see is what you get. You can drag this over here. We can start typing, right? We can add some structure to it, bold and underline. We can insert different links. We can insert video. So if we had a YouTube video, let's see if I can pull one up real quick here for you, just to show you what it looks like. All right, here's one for you. So we're gonna just embed this right here. There we go. And now that video pops up. For whatever reason, it's unavailable. Oh, because it's an ad. One second, let me see if I can find another one. There we go. Let's go insert another one. But this works with anything. This works with, what other tools do we have? If you have a link, it can be embedded. Other media is another option. You can just, if you got a link, it can be embedded here. It doesn't really matter. The integrations with Figma or Creative Cloud or, Miro, Lucid, they can all be embedded here and we can provide more information. These are just simply click and drag and we can change them around as well. We can also add, things like this, or we can add tables and columns as we go along and we can space them out and we can add new lines and rows. We can also add a section break, or we can add a chart as well. So this would be, something like Lucid we can pull directly from, and then it would be displayed visually here. And then adding in some, kind of designs. So again, if you're using Figma or Miro, we can pull those all in here and then click done. And now we have our project brief that we can refer back to. And as the person editing it or creating it, you can make updates to it, or we can play this video right in here as well. So lots of stuff that we can do. Is that Tom Hanks? That is Tom Hanks. Wow. Look at him. Good for you, Tom. There we go. So that's what overview looks like. There is more that I could get into, but this would be an extremely long training here. One other thing that I will point out is status updates. And then we'll get into portfolios to finish this off. So each week or every 2 weeks, when you are, updating your inner team or your internal team or your external stakeholders, we can add, a start date, let's say, to this project so everyone knows what we're doing, when we're doing it. But we can add statuses right here by clicking on whether we're on track, off track, or whatever it may be. So status update, great job. is what this is going to be called. And then this is our summary. Summary text goes here. So project managers, you can now come in and create status updates across the board, and then notify the people that are following it as well. For those of us that don't want to, be typing out our thoughts and updates, week to week, depending on how often we're making these updates, Asana's given us this functionality right here, where over a 1 to 4 week period, you can see and visualize what tasks have been completed, what tasks are overdue, and what tasks are upcoming. So as you can see, this changed. We have 1 task upcoming. So in the what's next section, I can just click and drag this box and it's going to show me exactly which tasks I have upcoming. If I want to see what's overdue, I don't think I have any. So what was blocked, maybe those blocked tasks would be added there, right? If there are any milestones completed, I thought I completed a milestone. Let's just see upcoming. There we go. So we can have another, section for milestones, and then it's what's accomplished, right? So approvals that were completed, we can also put that in there. So this makes it really easy and really quick to do status updates. Again, we can report on, who's working on what. And so incomplete tasks by assignee can be tracked here under the what's blocked section as an example. If we don't like this, we can change it, what didn't happen, right? Things like that, so we can get a really good understanding. We can also add in attachments here from our computer or from wherever we want. There we go. And we can, let's just post that now. So now that's a posted status update. Everyone on the team got updated as to what happened. And then this is what it looks like. And over, the weeks and months that will follow, you'll see the other status updates kind of line up underneath it as well. All right, hope you're still with me. Let's go back and see how we're doing. So that's project overview. Let's talk portfolios for a minute here. So what the portfolios will do is it will group, if you recall, this is our organization, these are our teams, and these are our projects. Our portfolio comes in at the project level to house groupings of different projects as well as groupings of other portfolios. Just a little visual here for you so you can see what a completed, filled out portfolio would look like. Okay, and these status updates are made like I just showed you and then updated based on either milestone completion or task completion as well. And just on the nested portfolios, if you are at the PMO, you can have your nested portfolios here so you can see and overview many different projects at different levels. So let's just go there and we'll conclude this training for today. All right, so we have our rules workflow here. I want to actually add this to a project or to a portfolio. So I'm going to call this rules workflow like so. Oh, there is no portfolio that's called that. So let's actually just start the portfolios here. Okay, we can create new portfolios here. I think I already have one from earlier. If I can find it. Of course I can't find it. Let's just make another one. So we're going to create a new portfolio and we're going to call this rules workflow. And we're going to make it private to project members because there's sensitive information in here we don't want anyone else to see. And so we want to now add work to this so we can see the status of the work that we have been working on. So I'm going to pull in the project I was just working on. We can see that the last status update, it was on track. We can see our task progress, 0% complete. Why is that? It's because there are only 3 tasks, okay? And all of them are incomplete. So there's been no progress. I'm gonna save this as default. Let's check off these 2 right here. And now let's go back to that portfolio. What did we call it? Rules, workflow. See, I lost it, so I just use search for everything. And there's a great advanced search. I say recommend you to check it out. But now we can see that of the 3 tasks, 2 of them have been completed and 1 still incomplete. So the project progress is 66% complete. This is a high priority task. This is the owner. And like we added custom fields to the other projects, we can do the same here as well. So that same status one that we created earlier, we can bring this in. No, I can't, because if you recall, I didn't add it to the library because I knew there was another status here. So if I want to pull in this status that's already there, what's the status of this project? Is it on hold? Is it in progress? Or are we waiting on something? Maybe it's on hold for whatever reason. We're waiting on that one last task before we can complete this. So this is a view that Portfolios gives us, and we can add any amount of other projects to this as well. By adding work, we can add in all of these. We can add in, whatever we want to. I'm just adding in random, projects here. So hopefully we can get some really good data. So now these all have different dates. As you can see, these are from November. I'm going to get some more current dates here for us so we can really see what's happening when we go to the next section. There we go. Let's give these all some dates. And this one is in July. There we go. So now if we go on the timeline view, for example, we can see the high level timeline of when all these projects are taking place, who it's owned by, and we can click into these to get more information. We can see the milestones that are missed. We can go and we can see a report of all the overdue tasks as well within that space. So this gives us a really nice summary of what's happening if and when we were to drill down into those spaces. Now, we can also go to progress to see the high level progress. Again, if you're a product manager or project manager and you are overseeing many different portfolios, you can get the status here as well. Like we did earlier, we can create messages. If we just want the collaborators of these portfolios to see it, what is happening? What is happening? At Kevin, please fix this, right? So we can do stuff like that. We can add a video recording here. We can add emojis here. We can attach files right to here. And that message will be displayed for everyone in the portfolio to see. But now is where it gets really, really fun. This is why we use portfolios, is so that we can get an understanding of what workload looks like across the team. All right. So as we wrap this up here, I just want to show you quickly right now, what this is tracking is tasks that are assigned to these individuals here. So we can see that it's based on task count. I can't actually show you. There is task count. And this is one task that's been assigned. And here we go. Daily, this individual, Julio, also has one task assigned because that's their daily capacity. But what if we wanted to do this based on effort points or estimated hours? We would then need to go and add that effort in. So we're going to actually do that. We're going to add that effort, and we probably have it here. Let's just search for it. Hours. Yeah, we have estimated hours. Perfect. We're going to go next. And now what it's telling us is in order to report on estimated hours, we need to add that estimated hours custom field to all of our projects. Do we want to do that? Of course we do. So we're going to add that effort. And we can have a default capacity across the board. But in this case, Justin's actually a part-timer, so he's only working 15 hours per week. And so we can adjust individuals' capacity that way. And Julio is occasional contract. And so, capacity is, 7 hours a week, let's say. So we're going to set that capacity. And now this has been updated here. So we can't really see anything just yet. We know that we're basing this on estimated hours and, we have capacity set, but now we actually have to go and add. We have to actually add information to be able to use this. So if I were to come in here, I'm going to create a whole bunch of other tasks. Let's just do this just for fun. There we go. And these ones were going to be assigned to, who do we have in this project? We have Julio, and in these we have Jamie. Oh no, you see what it's doing? My rule is running and it's assigning everything. Let's go turn off these rules. It's changing everything. Yeah, let's just turn off this rule for now. I'm just going to delete it because I don't need it. Let's delete that rule as well. Great. So let's try that again. Let's go Jamie. We got some from Justin. And then these ones. What is happening? There we go. And then these ones I'll make Justin. There you go. Beautiful. So you'll notice that we have this new custom field section here for estimated hours. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and add in random hours because that task is going to take 4 hours. That's going to take 5, right? And 57. No, that's absurd. All right. Let's just keep going here. Let's add some random numbers. 8, 8, 6, whatever it may be. So now we can see, how much time this is going to take everybody. That's giving us the sum of the numbers added here. If we wanted to change that, we could see the average number of hours that each team member is using. But in this case, we are just going to keep it sum. So we can see it. So there are 69 hours spread out across all of these different team members. Now, what we need to do is to assign some due dates because we want to see how many hours are spread out over a certain amount of time. So let's just give Jamie a few days. Let's make these ones also a few days, like so we can spread it out because these tasks take really long. And let's make these all due on 1 day. There we go. So as long as there's an assignee, a due date, and estimated hours as we're setting up our project, this is going to work wonderfully. So let's go to our rules portfolio again. Let's go to our workload now so we can see exactly what's happening. So there we go. So now we can see that Jamie's doing all right because Jamie's daily capacity, let's see, is 7 hours. And in this case, Jamie's averaging about 5.6 hours a day based on all the tasks assigned to Jamie. If for whatever reason there was too much going on, we can spread this out and it changes all of these in real time and it spreads out the work. If we needed to move this, we can do that at this point. If Jamie was going to be on leave, we can say, all right, Julio's going to take it. And then we're going to assign it to Julio right there. But as you can see, what now happens, let's make this shorter, is now it's going to push Julio over his, over their daily average. All right. So instead of, being under, the daily average for capacity is 1.4 and they're at 2. And same with Justin. Justin is also over capacity in all cases. So we can either spread the work out like so that it brings down our capacity a little bit more or our actuals a bit more, or we can just move work out like this and bring in other people and assign it to them. And then these change in real time. So this is really what we're trying to get to when it comes down to how we use these tools. So whether you're using, a Kanban approach or a Scrum approach, whatever it is, if you want to track points and estimated hours, this is a great way for you to do it in Asana. And that's actually where I'm going to conclude it for today. There's so much more that we can look at, but I think this gives us a really good starting point. If there's anything that I missed that you want more clarity on, or if you want to understand, a bit more details on one of the specific features, I'm sure I've got a video for it. And if I don't, leave a request and I'll make sure to get that video sent over to you after putting it on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this helpful. And if you need anything else, you know where to find me. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.